Oh, does he not have a dodge? I haven't played him that much. I don't even realize.
He does, he does. Guardian has a dodge
Oh,
the same
Guardian.
way Recluse does, and it's a dash, but you do get iframes off of it. It's not good. It's not that good is what I
That's the
should
only
say.
thing though, is that what's it doesn't isn't Recluse's dodge like good? Or at least
Yeah,
decent
and
because it's like long?
you can buff it with, a certain cocktail where you
I
pretty much get
recently
Bloodhound Step.
I haven't had a crazy issue with Guardian's dodge just because his like guard ability is just too good. And if you just get something that helps you regen stamina even faster, like there's not really a reason to ever dodge.
Yeah, if you stack stamina throughout the game, you shouldn't have that much of a problem.
Yeah,
My problem is the fact that because he's so reliant on his shield, you can't use stuff like great swords as well as you would only use spears. He's
that's true.
heavily reliant on only spears. While Duchess
Mhm.
is heavily reliant on like daggers, she's also extremely good with pole blades and other weapons.
Okay.
Alright, so OBS messed up, and for this entire recording, my parts are all silent. So for the parts that don't have voiceovers and are just silent with this stupid little picture up, you guys actually get to argue with the group. Thanks.
It the thing with the skill is it also does a lot of, stagger damage. Like, you stack stagger. Well, it also
I think
stacks with the fact that the power itself also adds on to it. Like, the slash does way more than anything else in this kit other than, I guess, the giant ult form, and then you press right trigger. You turn invincible with everyone's. Everyone's ult. Yeah, you do. You get iframes at the start of it just like you do with everyone else's. And
mhm.
okay, oh, that was just a skill issue, bro.
The Raider one.
Yeah,
Oh,
Guardian
Guardians,
has a field.
you're invincible. You fly up and you're still invincible during that. You slam down and you can hold the invincibility.
You can. You very much can be carried by a Duchess. Any decent Duchess doesn't really die much at all. This is like the carry character as long as you have any decent weapon.
But she lacks the DPS though.
She doesn't, given the fact that her 2 best blades do they don't do status, but they do percentage damage. She has Reduvia, she has the Blade of Calling, she has Black Blade, which just constantly does damage. Her fucking relic that you get after her first remembrance literally gives you FP upon attack. You can just constantly spam shit, and it has a good amount of range. The thing is, it's literal skill issue at that point if you need to be carried by a Duchess. Well, she does get a lot better if there's heavier hitting characters, because obviously her fucking redial happens. But she again, on her own, has a relic. that does that for her. You don't have to use your power. It uses itself as long as you get successive attacks. You add on to your own. You don't need anyone else.
I disagree.
Obviously, if you're using like if we're talking base Duchess, you have no relics. You have like a blood blade and maybe a staff with fucking like magma shot. Then yeah. She does have a giant FP pool though. It that depends how you play her too. If you want to play just a Duchess that sits in the back, you can very much do that. But her best strength comes from being in their ass. She's extremely strong. He has he's very tanky. He has a giant health pool. He doesn't have a fault. Obviously, he doesn't. Yeah, that's very much something. That's something people don't consider is that while he's not the best at a single thing, he's the most consistent. You can use bows, you can use staffs, you can use seals, you can use any weapon you want, and it will work. It will do the job. I not just that, but I think Wilder and Iron Eye, those are two characters that you don't even need to pick up any other weapons for. You can just level up their base ones and it will be good. No relics, no nothing, they will still be amazing. Mhm. Yeah.
I think Iron Eye's default is really good, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
Oh, okay, I thought you were saying just
You know,
Duchess.
Raider also has an insane one.
Mhm.
Raider is really good with his base axe. It's a great axe. It's a really good great axe.
It's pretty good,
Especially
but I always find myself finding something better
well,
since
you
it's
can
just
always
pure
find
raw
something better.
strength, but
Yeah. A colossal, yeah. It his his great axe falls right in the middle for me because it's not too slow either. Because that's a thing. That's a very big thing is the bosses in this game aren't that slow. They aren't as delayed either. Like you don't have enough time to fully charge up an attack and, like a heavy attack and then completely tank it. Well, Radar does have his health and all that, and like the fact that he rarely staggers. Doing that for more than 4 times, you burn through all your flasks. So his great axe is in the middle. The thing I like about his great axe is that it's a double spin on his heavy.
mhm,
It's not like a singular big hit. It's a double big hit. He spins around with it.
yeah. It's a good amount of what the heavies do with him, I think.
I think it all just depend. Like it depends on the moveset you'd like. Because obviously some moves are just better with normal heavy attacks, but others are obviously better, like Fox said, with jumping attacks.
Mhm.
I think it also depends. Like if you have a claw talisman, I think yeah, even better. But if you have, a charged attack, I do wanna say, when we brought up RNG, I instantly thought of Recluse. Because her cocktails are so RNG reliant, and half of the time you're only gonna get maybe 2 spiral towers at most, where you can find like decent staffs. And even then, you're heavily reliant on the fact that somebody else is gonna give you something that they see. And like her cocktails relying on that too is very bad because you can't use all 15. You use combinations that you have. Like she has an auto parry, but you need 2 lightning and a holy. That's a giant gamble that you can get 2 lightning weapons and a holy.
Mhm.
I'd say that, but the thing with her is she has not big burst damage, but she just has consistent damage over the entire game. Like she's not like Wilder or Raider who can just pop an ult or like do a giant attack and it'll take a giant chunk out of them. It's she's going to consistently hit for a consistent set amount of damage that is going to constantly whittle away at them. It doesn't like you don't see the explosion of damage. Yeah.
I don't even know what the fuck they're talking about here. It's hey.
I think if this game just had more sorcery oriented things, she would be so much better. But she's not bad at all either. Like I really want to preface that while all of these characters are like C and like stuff like that, none of them are bad. It's just some are just better.
Mhm.
You have to play him like if you're just playing base Elden Ring. You don't use the powers. It's he is, and I'm so serious. I had I had the Elden Ring build. I had Rivers of Blood. I had Moonveil. I had Lord of Blood's. I had the Bloodlord's Exaltation or whatever the fuck it was called. So I would constantly get powered up, and then I had the the equivalent of the prosthesis. I forgot. There's another name for it. The wing insignia, the normal wing insignia, and it would just tear through them. And especially if you just have a third katana, like just taking your base one in just for the frost proc is also amazing
Mhm.
because they just take more damage after that. But again, you can't really use frost for every boss either because some are obviously just completely resistant to it or just take less damage from it than they would with other things. And that's another reason why I think Wilder and that's a reason why I think Wilder, Raider, and Iron Eye are just amazing. Is because Iron Eye doesn't really have that downside of taking uh less damage because he uses a bow. Well, Raider and uh Wilder both have the options to just use different types of weapons, slashing, blunt, thrusting weapons. While, say like, uh Recluse, you're more or less stuck with her spells, which obviously certain bosses are just not weak to magic, and some are just more resistant to it than others. Executor, you're only really using katanas, pole blades, only slashing weapons. Same thing goes for Duchess. Um, Same problem with Guardian. He only uses spears more or less because everything else doesn't really work with his power. So you're only stuck with, piercing and slash. It's the variety of having those that just make them even better than they already are is how open it is. I hope you guys know I did that same thing with mine. The closest to the letter would be the best. So
I did not.
Wilder, Wilder, I was teetering between S and A, but I just feel like the other characters just get more value out of him.
Probably should have done that. Hmm.
My B is very much interchangeable. They can all just switch around. They're too dependent on one thing to not be good. Like great, I mean. Did you guys know Walmart sells sauces for like $1, bro? It's kind of crazy. I got
Or was you thinking about sauce?
it's because I went to Walmart and I got Guy Fieri's Flavortown smoked hickory barbecue sauce for $1. Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I would still have Guardian and Raider higher and Duchess lower, but yeah, that sounds about right.
I would also have I'd have a Radar higher. Guardian's fine at B.
The DPS just isn't there.
Her seals are very good. I do want to say that.
Yeah.
I want to say this now. There is a reason why Lil Aggie, known Elden Ring speedrunner, he did a hitless expedition completely. Overworld boss hitless expedition. Who he used? Iron Eye. Because he's just so
Yeah.
good. No, only he does. He only he does that triple shot heavy attack. Funnily enough, his best bow's a crossbow. Let me look it up real quick. It was I remember it's red, that's for sure. Uh, The pulley crossbow. That one is insane. Pretty sure it is. Uh, Here, let me gameplay. Yep, that's the rapid fire one. But that is by far his best bow, is the pulley crossbow. Um, Serpent bow is also amazing. Um, I know his black bow can be really good because one of the drops is the black bow builds bleed.
Mm.
And there's just like no downside because even then, if you really don't want to use bows, you don't have to because he's a very high dex. Arrow and stuff like lances. There's a lot of things that they did that like it just applies to bows now. Just you know, like the fact that bows can now uh riposte is like a lot of stuff that was added for normal weapons are there for bows too. Just to, nudge him to make him even better because bows and base Elden Ring are really that good. I feel like Recluse is such a middle ground character because of how reliant on RNG she has. Because you can do insane stagger damage, or you can do insane like normal damage. Say you have scatter shot, and then you can do insane stagger damage using the meteor shower spell. Like you can do both, but it's can you get it?
Mm.
It's because he's so fucking versatile. His both of his attacks can be used. His mark obviously helps him and his team. It's an insane dodge too. If you're using it while someone's like, say like you're going against the Knights Cavalry or um the final boss with his thrust dash, you can use the mark, dodge that, and mark them, adding damage. You can like that's just insane. You can use it extremely selfishly, and boom, after that they're marked. Guess what? Extra team damage for everyone. Because oh, you can use it to stagger, you can line it up with people, or you can just use it to res. It's again extremely versatile. Or you can simply just use it to tank an attack. Like I think he's incredible against the final boss too because of Hailstar's like charge up attack where he goes up in the air and then slams the floor. You can straight up just tank the entire thing and ult him through it because of how delayed it is. Because the attack itself doesn't start until the dude touches the floor. So you just wait for him to pretty much touch the floor and you pull off the attack and boom. Extreme damage on him. He gets extreme fucking stun and you just survive the attack.
Hmm.
That guy. Yeah, that's just only Iron Eye.
It's kind of insane.
He's he's by far the best character without any discussion about it. Bro, you could put a raider with double grafted greatswords and it still won't compare to Iron Eye. I do wish this game gave ults like a wilder treatment where there's two versions of them. If you hold it down, it takes the entire thing, or if you just press it quickly, it's a quick one. Obviously, it does less damage, it does less stagger, but it still gives you those invincibility frames, and you can build it up faster again. I also think Wilder's very uh he's good on his own, but once you have relics, he's insane. Once you finish his remembrance, he is
Yeah.
actually second best character without a doubt. Two grapples, AoE fire on your ult, no matter which version you use, and if you use his other relic that you get throughout, you have the extra uh follow-up attack off his grapple, which turns any greatsword and adds fire to it. I could have like a bleed relic for my greatsword, and it would still do bleed damage and fire damage. Or I could add, poison, so on and so forth, and it would still add fire damage to it. It also just wastes like it's better for time management. Obviously, you don't waste as much time like attacking because it counts as an attack and it does a good amount of poise too. He's kind of insane.
Definitely. He's also one of the most fun.
He is, yeah. I find it funny that people say, "Oh yeah, no, his gameplay's really boring," and then like you'll play like Guardian or Raider. Raider is just straight, unga bunga, and you just build
Mhm.
up damage on yourself. It's not to say he's boring. It's just like you don't get to fly around and like do shit like that. You just play the game
Mhm.
normally. Or like Guardian, you pretty much hold up your shield your entire time. Like it's not to say it's like boring gameplay, it's just it doesn't appeal to everyone. But to say being able to have movement and have all of these options while still being able to play like other characters is kind of crazy. He can fill anything you need.
Phyllis Day.
I I do think Guardian is a bit underwhelming with his power.
Yeah.
He would be a lot better if the um the targeting system for AIs was better. Cause there's shit that you can pick up that gives you like you're less likely to be focused, or like the relics, which makes you more likely to be focused while guarding. But it does nothing. Those percentages have to be upped.
Mm.
It shouldn't be a 50-50 whether this relic you put on makes sure you get targeted by the boss. You just should. That's like I think it also goes back to Executor too. Is their powers are very reliant on the fact that you are getting targeted. But if you have, say, a Duchess, an Iron Eye, a Recluse, who are doing more steady damage, you aren't gonna get focused at all. Because the boss just goes to whoever else. If targeting was based off of was just a higher stat for those characters, it would be so much better. Yeah, no. As long as you hold it and it doesn't run out, you are it's a field of invincibility. His regular Iron Eye, his dash does I think it's the same as a roll. I know guard, yeah. Hi- The the marking, right? Yeah, no, it's literally because you're going so far. So instead of the iframes being spread very closely, since you're going so far, 9 times out of 10 you're not gonna get hit because they're hitting at the point of the ability where you are just invincible. It's spread out much further.
I'm so fried. Got a pole on me, so you better say goodbye. I believe that I can fly. Pop out with the pole and that boy started crying. I'm so